welcome to Critical Loading Error, where this time we are talking about E3 predictions for 2017. We are just going to go down the list in the order of the days and go through them all. So you have myself, who is your wonderful MC for the evening, and then we have Bulba, and we have Eddie, of course.
Who are you, Markie?
I'm Markie.
Oh, okay.
Suck at
Wow.
introducing myself. Deal with it.
Hashtag shots fired, Bob. Good grief.
All right, so first thing that we're going to discuss, which I'm going to love the 5 minutes this takes. June 10th, we have EA's conference at 12 p.m. Pacific. I will go with you two first on this one. So who wants to take their shots at EA?
Bob's going first.
Sports stuff, war stuff, and Battlefront 2. And I'm sleeping on board. Your turn.
Dang it. Figured he'd go longer. Let's see. Sports
Eddie, don't you
stuff.
know I never go longer?
But
sports stuff for definite because it's EA. You're gonna see your FIFA. You're gonna see your Madden, NBA. You're gonna see that. That little bastard threw me in the damn lava. You're gonna see Battlefront 2. Star Wars Battlefront 2. That is a thing that is happening. So people are definitely have to judge for it. I figure Dragon Age will probably be a thing as well. So that'll be another thing that people will be like, yay, hype. I just want to... Mainly, I'm looking to just see it because I'm pretty sure it's going to look pretty. So it's just... If anything, EA, if you can just surprise me with just anything that isn't, completely and utterly just sports dominated, then please do. Seriously do. Alright, I'm done.
all right, and my whole thoughts on the EA thing is very similar to theirs, with a little few caveats here and there. So EA obviously is a majority of doing the sports games. That's a thing that they're known for, so we're going to expect a lot of that. What I'd like to see is some more innovation on the sports games. I mean, if you're going to show them, show some new features, show some new tracking, things that are making them better. The only game I know intimately, and it is because my boyfriend plays it, is the NHL games that they make. And some of the strides they've made since the first time I saw the game to now is amazing. But they don't ever seem to show off the NHL game during the actual EA conference. And so you don't get to hear about all these improvements that they make to tracking and to scoring and to managing things. And just otherwise, if you don't point out those things, it looks like you're reskinning the same thing and re-releasing it, which eventually someone's going to figure out. Eventually the populace will realize it, maybe, and stop buying them until there's some type of an improvement.
Call of Duty!
We'll get there. We'll get there. Hush. So, the other thing is, I am looking forward to seeing Battlefront 2. I do want to see how that's going to turn out. I'm a little excited for it. I don't want to get super excited because I don't want to get my hopes up, because every time I have in the past with EA, I feel like I get let down. So that's where I'm at with that one.
I mean, I don't...
So that is pretty much the summary, is we all agree that it's going to be a lot of sports, a splash of this and that there is what we're expecting. If there's more than that, fantastic. I will be super happy.
I didn't hear Bob pipe up with something.
Yeah, I don't want to be that guy, but I'm just thinking about most of the people who actually just watch E3. I'm sure they go over the sports improvements a lot, but unless you are really into whether it's the NHL or NFL, most people just zone that out and don't really care. I know I'm one of them. If you love the NHL series, then yeah, you'd be super excited, but I'm just going to guess most of the people there are just going to be going, oh no.
So the defense I have for that whole idea is that the actual improvements are also things that we can put into other games, with things like having the virtual reality coming in having the type of tracking that they have in the NHL games could easily be applied and improved upon to create amazing virtual reality experiences. So that's something that it's nice to hear about because you're going, hey, that's possible to apply to other games. That's why I look at things like that still, even though I don't play any of them.
Yeah, that could be cool, but it's just if EA decides to apply it that way, or I'm sure they'll go for virtual reality, but I'm thinking that might be like another conversation for another time.
Yeah.
Although they might show some virtual
I'm not
reality
talking.
stuff.
Yeah, and I'm not even talking about EA doing virtual reality. I'm talking about the gaming industry as a whole,
Yeah.
eventually applying some of the things that EA has found once they either get the rights to be able to use some of that stuff or build their own version of it that is just as good. They can use that for virtual reality. So, do we have any other comments before we move on to the following day since EA is the only thing on the 10th?
Do something
No.
else on the 10th?
You do something else on the 10th so that we can have some more content? Yeah, totally. That'd be fabulous.
Well, if anything, like I figure by the time we go to actually do this again, we'll be able to at least discuss what EA showed, and then we can just go, okay, here's what was shown here, and then just I don't know.
It will probably just be EA, 10 minutes of discussion, other gaming news.
Yeah. Here's what's actually leaked before the show for this, and this day.
Well,
Right. By the time we post this on YouTube, because that's where it'll go after being on Twitch here, obviously. I mean, there's going to be stuff leaked this week leading up to all of this, and it happens every year. Nobody's surprised by it at this point. And it isn't, oh, some random person got... No, they leaked it themselves to up the hype.
what are you talking about? This will be going up on YouTube tomorrow.
Well,
I'm just saying, in case, emergencies happen.
That's true.
Bob
Life
does fall
happens
asleep.
sometimes.
I do fall asleep, yes.
Like, we delayed starting this a little while because I had to celebrate my hockey team. So, okay.
Here's a question.
So,
If you've had alcohol, can I go get alcohol now?
I have not had alcohol. I'm actually not allowed to drink anymore. So, June 11th. First thing that is of importance that day is the Xbox E3 briefing. So, my wonderful friends, who would like to go first?
Scorpio. We all know Scorpio's showing up. That's pretty much probably going to be the biggest part of Microsoft's show. Other than that, I can't. And I talked to Eddie before then. I'm having a hard time really thinking of any first-party content I can really think that's going to show up at the Xbox show. Maybe there'll be some third-party stuff, but there's nothing. I'm not sure if it's going to show up at the Xbox show or the Sony show or somewhere else. So I'm not sure if I can just talk about, well, I expect to see this at the Xbox show. As far as the only first-party exclusives I know about that IPs that Microsoft has, we had a Gears of War game last year, so we're not going to see anything there. And even though I think Eddie really thinks we'll see Halo, I have a gut feeling that we won't. I think Halo has released close enough that I don't think we're going to hear anything about Halo this year. I think that's probably a next year thing. And so other than that, there might be some new first-person IPs, but there's nothing I can really think about from Microsoft. And that just might be because really they've lost the console war for this generation so hard. I can't think of anything unique that I really expect coming out of that conference.
All right. Eddie?
Alright, for me, I'm hoping to see more of the Microsoft HoloLens / glasses they showed off last year. Like, them showing off that Minecraft demonstration alongside of it was just one of those mind-blow experiences, because it's just, holy cow, that was awesome. I want to see more of that. I want to see, more of, the potential with Minecraft with that. Please bring me more of that. Because it's just it's something new, it's something unique. I like seeing new and unique things, even though I'm more than likely going to be broke and we won't be able to afford it. But I can see that. My gut tells me we're seeing Halo, because it's been a little too long since we've actually heard or seen something from good old Master Chief. and it's just like I can see him showing up. We're of course going to see Forza because it's their racing game. They're going to go hands-on ham with it. Can I see more of Cuphead and get a fucking release date already? Please, can I get a release date for Cuphead?
My question is, do we expect to see Cuphead in the Microsoft show instead of the PC gaming show?
I figure, if anything, they'll probably show Cuphead because it's a part of the indie program, and it's just like, it's one of those series, or at least the game is, it's one of those games that people have been just going, hey, where is this? Yeah. So I want to see it. I want more of it, and just please, just give me. Yeah. And so that would be nice. As far as anything else goes, like, I know we're going to see the Scorpio and get information on the Scorpio / upgraded console PC / Xbox One 2.0 sort of thing. So it's just like, I mean, yeah, sure, we're going to see that. But it's just more or less like, what other games am I going to be able to potentially get on my Windows 10? Because it's just like, at this point with them from last year marrying their Windows 10 and Xbox One exclusive, like, I figure I'm going to hear that at least 10 to 15 times during their conference. You know, Xbox One and Windows Live exclusive. It's like, okay, cool, I got it the first time. But I expect to see, at least I'm hoping to see, some more games that'll at least get me kind of interested to buy more games for, through the Windows Store. Please don't make it a fucking nightmare like I had with Gears of War 4. Please, for the love of goodness, Microsoft, potentially team up with Steam or something at this point. I don't know. Wishful hoping, hopeful wishing, whatever.
I actually did think of maybe something else I kind of expect to see. And okay. I think there'll be some sort of response from Microsoft to Nintendo.
And that being?
That's because we... this is actually a piece of news that came out this week. Microsoft sent out a survey to a bunch of its subscribers. Basically, you know, it's a typical thing, you know, things you're looking forward to in the Microsoft press briefings, things like this. Basically, what they like, what they dislike, you know, kind of standardish until about halfway through, and it started becoming a little bit stalkery on the Nintendo Switch, which shows that Microsoft is not considering Sony their competitor anymore because Sony's so far ahead, and they're being very threatened by Nintendo's success with the Switch. And there's even some of the questions seem to be just some of these backhanded insults to Switch to try to insult Switch. So I think Microsoft is very threatened by Switch. I almost wonder. I don't think they're going to do anything like that. I don't think they're going to set up some sort of competitive console. I don't think they're going to do like a something with Scorpio where it's like portable and can be played on the TV. But I think that there might be some references to Nintendo to maybe just downplay the Switch. I think there might be some response there.
So, if anything, Bob, do you have any of the questions like in front of you by chance?
No, I can look that up. And by the time Markie talks about what she wants, I might have something. I learned about this from the Know. I kind of watch it every once in a while, so I'll be looking at that up real quick.
Yeah, please and thank you. So, if anything, Markie, what do you expect to see, or at least want to see, for that matter?
So, obviously, we're all expecting Scorpio. That was something that they vaguely alluded to last year, and said that we would see more this year. If it's just going to be an updated version of the one, better be a lot of changes if it's going to try to catch up to the PS4. I own both consoles, and I can tell you from the experiences between the two, the PS4 does in fact run a lot smoother than the Xbox One. And the graphics are beautiful. So, all of you Xbox and PS4 fanboys, calm. You can still like what you like, but as someone who doesn't do the whole fangirl thing, I like both consoles for whatever reason. The only problem is that one is actually better. So if they're going to bring forward Scorpio and it's going to be a console, they need to make it so that it is actually competition with the PS4 or whatever PlayStation announces this year, because otherwise it's just going to sink like a rock. Because PlayStation has all of their stuff after Xbox. So if Scorpio doesn't completely blow the boundaries that the Xbox One has out of the water, it's going to fall flat when you have PlayStation talking the following day.
And I was going to, and plus, if anything, if memory serves me correctly, they're going to also be showing the PS4 Pro.
Well, the PS4 Pro already launched.
Right,
so,
I am dumb then.
Yeah, that was last year, dude.
Yeah,
I'm dumb.
so that is something that they may have, like a PS4 Pro Plus or Pro Slim or whatever the hell they decide to call it, that they may show. But if it's still improving on what they've already made, I'm thoroughly impressed.
Yeah, and I think...
But Xbox has to come to the table with something that's going to be equally as good to stay in what is considered the console competition / war or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. And to be honest, I think Sony's just going to focus on the games this year.
Yeah, and that's what I'm hoping Xbox actually does. So if Scorpio is not something that's going to be launching this year, if it's going to be more teasing of what is to come, then they have to bring some games to the table and some features that are being added to the One that's going to make it worthwhile to keep or buy or continue using. Honestly, I feel that their indie market on the 360 was a lot better than the one that exists currently for the Xbox One. They need to improve that. They need to expand it. They need to make it so that more game devs and starter-ups have access to those tools and the ability to put things on there. For example, my mom has an Xbox 360. She's homebound, has a fun time playing tons of card games that are all indie games on the 360. She plays like poker and hearts and spades and God only knows what else that she's gotten as indie games that were all cheap games, but they're actually done really well. But you have no access to anything like that on the Xbox One. I check regularly for her because she would love to upgrade and be able to play some of the things that are on the Xbox that we could do as like family game night things, like they have the Jackbox party and everything. But it's not worth it to her if when she's by herself and just wasting time if she can't do the card games too, because she doesn't want to have to switch between consoles constantly. So I would love to see an expansion of the indie games again. The last Halo game was Halo Wars 2, so it wouldn't shock me to see a recurrence of Master Chief, or at least a hint at he is coming. It may not happen this year, but as a we're working on something. The same thing goes for Gears of War. It's very likely, since they've passed the torch on to the next generation, so to speak, in the series, that we could see something. But again, it would be more of a teaser type thing instead of something that's coming out right away the end of this year.
Yeah.
What I would love to see is, I miss some of the RPGs that used to exist on Xbox that were like proprietary things that they had. Because, let's be honest, you guys knew me, or at least Eddie knew me, when I was going through my Fable phase. And God, do I miss having games like those. I would love to see another thing similar. And I'm talking about the original 3. We aren't even going to talk about the fourth one. To me, it does not exist. We don't even talk about that. So I'd love to see something like that. Like, bring us back some more content. And when talking about expanding content, can you give us some more of the 360 games that we can have access to? That'd be wonderful. Like, that's where I'm at, because we were told, oh yeah, we're going to make it backwards compatible. And then it's like, here's like 15 games you can access. Good luck. It's like, oh, thanks. I was really hoping for more than that. But, sure. Well, whatever.
I know slowly but surely they're releasing games, and I know that like most of the games in my collection are at least backwards compatible right now. But yeah, I think if anything, also the ideal that they're I want to hear more about this whole streaming service that they have available, or at least that they are kind of pimping out to me on Facebook, because it's just like, oh, you want to do this whole Netflix sort of Xbox One or style streaming service thing with your games? Okay, let me just see and hear more about that at E3 if you want to kind of get eyes and ears on it.
Yeah, and the thing is that Microsoft has some great potential, but like the last year they didn't really bring it to the table. The only thing that made it super exciting was some of the hints at Kingdom Hearts 3 and it being like across all platforms, and some of the things that we were totally expecting and already knew about because they'd talked about them previously. I really think in order for Xbox to blow anybody away at this point, they're going to have to keep tight-lipped on things and not let out too much before the actual conference. And then let it go. And make sure that you have great demos. Make sure that they're live demos and it's not like someone who is perfectly trained to do this, or it's a pre-recorded demo and pre-taped where you just have someone pretending to play the controller.
Yeah.
The actual live in-game stuff is what we want to see. And that goes for everyone. So if someone out there works at one of these places and knows some people, tell them we don't fall for that anymore. Okay?
Yeah. And that's the thing.
No.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That's the thing is I'm with you. I would like to see focused at the Microsoft press conference to be on the games. But I know in my heart of hearts that they're going to spend way too much time on Scorpio and other tech, and the games are going to be kind of sprinkled in like towards the end. There's just going to be way too much tech focus, and
just let me dream.
And also I don't expect to see indie stuff. I'm sorry, I don't.
My heart. Oh, it hurts.
Why do you gotta crush our balls, Bob? Why?
Oh. That's okay. You get to crush mine when we get to Nintendo.
That is
okay.
Fair.
But
I do have those survey questions.
Okay.
Real
quick on that, and then we can get on to Bethesda.
So, just a few of the questions they asked. They asked on a scale of 1 to 5, where 1 means not interested and 5 means extremely interested. Please rate your level of interest in these specific E3 announcements. And this is kind of common. They include Scorpio, PS4 Pro, Nintendo Switch, but they also include the Nintendo SNES Classic Edition, which is something that we don't even know is going to exist or not. But then it starts getting really weird. There's a question that asks, which of the following Nintendo Switch features is most appealing? Select up to 2. Price, game catalog, Joy-Con controller, portability, local multiplayer gameplay, or with a micro SD slot. And this is where I said they kind of get backhanded here. Which of the following Nintendo Switch features is least appealing? Price, game catalog, lack of backward compatibility. You're one to talk, Microsoft. Joy-Con controller, portable battery life, 3 to 6 hours, internal memory, 32 gigabytes, lack of console inventory, technical glitches, lack of VR support. Actually, this may mean that Microsoft might be moving on something VR. And my friends don't own one yet. And then there's one more question they asked, which is, how likely are you to buy a Nintendo Switch within the next 12 months? So, they're really concerned about that Switch, guys.
Alright, so if anything, I understand it's always something to where, okay, we need to be able to be on top of our competition, and, we want to try to one-up them, for that matter. However, to kind of, getting into the raw, deep and dirty of, what features of, X or Y are you kind of, interested in, or at least not interested in, or what concerns you, blah, blah, blah. That is rather interesting.
Yeah. Because
it's just why are you so concerned with that? Because, everyone knows, when it comes to, with Nintendo, they try to at least keep their consoles at a relative decent price to where people can afford them. Now, if they do something like a price cut, they'll normally, like when the Nintendo 3DS first came out, they did a $70 price cut, and then they were like, oh yeah, by the way, for those who bought early, Ambassador program, boom, here you go, here's your stuff back for at least investing early. And I'm like, all right, cool, thanks for that. But it's just, Microsoft, you're a wily one right now.
Yeah. Looking back at that, sorry.
It's okay, go ahead.
I was going to say, looking back at that, it might be possible we might see, in addition to the augmented reality glasses, we may see something. We may see some sort of push towards virtual reality, maybe with the Scorpio.
Yeah, and with those survey questions, it does tell me that Microsoft is a little bit like they're shaking in their boots a little bit with all of the things that other consoles have been able to come out with and do. The fact that Nintendo was so completely and totally confident on the Switch being able to sell itself, they just released it without really any big announcements or waiting for E3 or doing anything like that. They were just kind of like, so we have this thing and we think you're going to like it, and here, take a preview. And like, I went from knowing that a lot of people really loved their older original Wiis plus the Wii U, and we're like, yeah, these are great. They're still functioning. I love them. I love all the games on them. And then all of a sudden we see commercials for the Switch on TV, and people are like, so when's this coming out? Because I'm ready to put down my money now. So, of course, Microsoft will be shaking their boots from that, because Nintendo has been making some very interesting and very just completely on-it moves lately. The NES Classic was something that everybody loved last Christmas season. If they do the SNES Classic and release that this Christmas season, I know that's going to be a hot item, and I know that I'll be trying to find one because the SNES was the first console I got introduced to, so I would be on that like white on rice. So, but moving forward, so we don't stay on Xbox forever, and the potential for them to flail and cry horribly at the end of their conference.
And no one wants us to be on Xbox for forever.
Yeah. So, as you can see on the image that we have up right now, there's going to be some exclusive reveals from Deep Silver, EA, 505 Games, and a bunch of other ones. Obviously, these are things that we may see more of where they give like a teaser, and I'm expecting them to show up in later conferences. The fact that EA has their stuff the day before, but then they're doing an exclusive reveal the following day, is kind of an interesting thing for me. I'm kind of wondering what they're up to.
Well, it's going to be an Xbox thing, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be an Xbox thing since it's coming right after Xbox. So I'm assuming that Xbox is going to do their briefing, and then the exclusive reveals are going to be specifically geared towards what's coming out on Xbox. If it's something completely different, I'll be interested to see what happens. So after that, we're looking at the Bethesda E3 showcase, which is at 9 p.m. Pacific on the 11th. So, Bulba, you going first again on this one? Or are we going to let the fanboy go first?
Well, I should go first, because I'm just going to say I have no idea what Bethesda's going to show. I mean, I'm excited about it. Every single time I've seen any of the clips, or I've normally watched the entire showcase, because Bethesda's shows have been that good. But I mean, we already know it's not going to be Fallout. We already know it's not going to be Elder Scrolls. I'm trying to think of all the other little franchises that they own. I can't, for the life of me, think what it can be. And they've said we're looking at least 2 games here. I don't know what they're going to show here.
Could be an interesting one. So, Eddie?
What? What? Me? Fanboy? No, if anything, I'm not, like, as far as Bethesda goes, the quote-unquote fanboy, I would say. But the last 2 years of their show, and since they've actually come out and done press conferences when it comes to E3, they have brought it to the table every time. And the reason why, if anything, I'm probably getting called the fanboy, is because I've loved Bethesda's shows. Now, I figure they're not going to show anything in the main game series as far as their Elder Scrolls goes. They still have to work on it. I mean, Todd has mentioned that they're working on Elder Scrolls 6. They have mentioned it, that it's like, yeah, we're definitely working on it.
Actually, they've said that while it's in development, no one's actively working on it right now. They've been backpedaling really hard this week.
Crush my dreams, Bob. Crush my dreams. Just crush my dreams. I'm just gonna name you Bulbazak the Ball Smasher. My God.
I'll bring a hammer next week.
I figure we'll definitely see something as far as their Elder Scrolls Online goes. Like, that's the definitive one thing that we'll definitely see. Because, like, their MMO, it's a big thing for them. They may, I'm not exactly 1,000,000% sure, but they may mention something about their trading card game that, I mean, I played it, it was kind of interesting, it didn't hold me fully, so, we're definitely, like, without a shadow of a doubt, we're definitely seeing Quake Champions. I want to see Quake Champions, because it's just like, those old-timey arena Twitch shooters, I love watching the competition where those are concerned. I love watching it. I know, and I hope that they at least announce that they're doing competitive esports support for the Quake Champions on, like, the start of release, because it's freaking Quake. People are gonna try to bring that back and be more into it because of the esports and how esports is just slowly but surely growing.
Well, they'd be foolish if they didn't do that.
No, duh. Doom came out last year, so I don't expect to hear anything about it. I mean, may get to hear about some DLC, maybe? I never know. Bring me special projects, bring me new games, just bring me new stuff to be able to just kind of, like, you know, absorb and just take it and just kind of, like, just sit and just kind of, like, have a puddle in my lap by the time it's done. Please. But I'm done. So.
All right. So obviously we had Fallout 4 came out and everybody was super hyped about it. I'm not expecting to see a lot about Fallout. I mean, I could see that, you know, as open as it is and how much you can do in that game, I could see them maybe showcasing some future DLC a little bit, but I don't expect them to spend a lot of time on it. The same thing goes with Elder Scrolls in general, whether it's 6 or online. I'm not expecting a lot out of that. Because, like Bulba said, with 6, they say that it's being worked on, but it's not actively. It's like coming down the pipeline, but there's a blockage there right now. They're working on it because they've hit a bump in the road and don't know what they need to get over it, is how I'm imagining that. As for online, I personally didn't play it, but from the people that I heard that played it, they said it was a giant flop. So I'm not sure, actually, if Bethesda is going to really put a lot more into it.
Well,
I'd be kind of shocked if they started dumping more into it.
They've just released an expansion, actually. And given that they just released an expansion, I don't think they're going to talk about that. Because if it was an expansion that was coming out, maybe, but it's just released. I don't expect to hear anything about it online. Maybe,
Exactly.
Maybe they might talk about the card game, but given how big of a show, how big on showmanship Bethesda has been in past years, I don't think these are going to be getting a lot of their attention. Quake, I think, will, but they've said something about 2 huge projects. I think these are games that we haven't seen before.
Yeah, so that's what I was getting to. I'm really hoping Bethesda comes out with some new IPs. I want to see something new from them. We know that they've mastered Fallout and they can make a fabulous open world post-apocalyptic game. We know that they can do amazing with the Elder Scrolls universe because they've proved it over and over. I want to see something new, though. It can be in one of those genres, but I'd love to see more stories because that's something that I feel Bethesda has rarely faltered on so badly that people are upset and screaming at the top of their lungs at them, is that they do give you a good story. They get you invested in characters and in what's happening to them. So I'd really like to see something like that coming out of them.
And, sorry.
And when it comes to that, I really want to make sure that I don't get my hopes up. I want to see something that is immersive, something that they're going to continue to put content out like they've been doing for Fallout 4. They've given tons of support to that game, and I'd really like them to see them do the same thing for all of their other like specific projects that they work on and invest into. Because if they continue to do that, they're going to continue to get fans and continue to get people buying their games because they support them, because they update them, and because they continually release actual content that's worth investing your extra money into.
And I was going to say that now that you're talking about that, I do think I remember a rumor that they do have a brand new open world game that they're going to show off.
Sounds amazing. I'm looking forward to it. So, any final comments for the 11th?
None that come to the top of my mind.
Okay. So on the 12th, the first thing that they have at the start of the day, which I'm, unbeknownst to the other two, I'm going to gloss over, it's an Intel press conference. They're going to talk about computers, about new hardware that they're coming out with. Intel itself does not release games, but hardware is something that any PC gamer is going to want, which leads into an hour later at 10 a.m. Pacific, the PC gaming show starting. Now, the PC gaming show is a newer thing that started. I know the three of us equally split our time between PC and console. So I'm interested to hear what you two are hoping for to come out of the actual PC gaming show this time around.
Well, I remember watching the PC gaming show the first year they did it and being utterly disappointed, mainly because it was a whole lot of PC Master, basically them coming out, PC Master Ratio, and just jerking off for about like 2 hours with very little I won't say very little gameplay. There's just a lot of technical talk. There were a few really interesting gameplay reveals, but they didn't really focus on gameplay. I'm hoping to see a lot more of that because that's something PC has access to a lot of games and a lot of exclusive access to, especially indie games. And I really don't want somebody coming out and just talking about this is our game and this is just how gory it is, or just talking technical specs. I want you to do gameplay demos and show me the game and what the game has to offer, other than how technically impressive it is, and you're not really playing the game. I remember the highlight for me, the only thing I could really remember still from the first PC gaming show was Beyond Eyes, and that was barely shown. I want to see actual gameplay. This is where I hope to see games like Cuphead. And there's just so many projects out there, I don't even know where to begin. This is pretty much the show where I don't know what I want, just show me stuff. The only thing I can think of that I want to see Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. I want it to show up at the PC gaming show, because I don't think it will show up anywhere else.
That would be amazing.
Yes, please. Let me see the Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, because I actually did... if memory serves me, I did kickstart that project. So please let me see that. That's a Metroidvania I want to kind of sink my teeth into. If anything, I would also, and if anything, Bob, do you mind if I take over from here?
Oh, please go ahead. Like I said, I have no idea what's in the works anywhere. I just want to see what's coming up.
So PC gaming is the wild card for Bulba. So Eddie, what are your thoughts?
Can I please see some like Arcadian Atlas? I know for a fact I kickstarted that one. I know for a fact I did. Can I please see some Arcadian Atlas? Like, I want to see gameplay. Like, I've seen little clips and little things and little niches and nicks here. I figure, like, definitely that you're gonna have, more than likely Cliffy B will probably be on the show to discuss, Lawbreakers and the success that he had with his open beta that he had for a limited time, and then of course they're going to PS4. I also figure that there'll be like tech shown, maybe some improved graphics cards. Please don't show improved graphics cards. I mean, I've got a GTX 950 right now. That cost me a pretty penny. I honestly don't want to have to go and try to shell out more money for more improved parts, but daggone it if I won't to improve my baby. But just this is, I honestly have to say, this is also my wild card. Just show me games. Heck, if anything, Blizzard. This is a perfect chance for you to show Destiny on PC. Cough, cough. There's also the fact that maybe we could see something more about Hearthstone here. I don't know.
I'm just going to.
I know you're going to cut me off here.
Well, mainly because Blizzard doesn't announce things at E3; they announce things at BlizzCon.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's the big thing. They always announce something big and huge at BlizzCon. So that part I already expect and know. But just, I want to see stuff. I want to see games. Show me the goodies. That's it.
All right. What I'm expecting out of PC is I'm expecting a 50-50 split. Hopefully. I'm praying, because if it's any more than that on the hardware side of things, I'm going to get bored. So obviously you have Intel's press conference beforehand. We don't need to re-see their crap during the PC gaming show. If you're going to bring out anybody else to show hardware, bring out NVIDIA, bring out anyone besides Intel, because they've already had their chance to speak, and if they didn't get it out during then, they don't need the extra time during the gaming show, because that's the thing. We're not talking about, PC building, we're talking about gaming. What we want to see is the graphics cards, yeah, but beyond that, show us some games. So show us some things that are coming out. PC gaming is where most indie devs make their money and that, make their names for themselves. That's how Klee Entertainment, that's how they got with Don't Starve, and now they have Oxygen Not Included that's in beta status right now, I believe. And both games are fabulous, but they both started on the PC before they expanded to anywhere else, because you can get Don't Starve on console now. But I want to see more things like that. I want to see more of the indie developers that you see trying to get greenlit on Steam, given the chance to showcase what their game can do. One thing that I believe Bulba mentioned was the only thing that he remembered from the PC gaming show was Beyond Eyes. I was so hyped up about that game, and I still haven't gotten it for whatever godforsaken reason. Because I was so excited about it, because it was a completely new concept. It was a completely new idea, because your character is blind, and you're having to go by sound And as you bump into things and feel them, to figure out your surroundings and where you're going. That is an amazing and immersive thing that you can get into. On top of it showing how another part of our society lives. Because a lot of people don't know how that works. And so I thought that that was a beautiful idea, not only for a game, but also showing some ideas on how other people live with that type of a disability and how they react to things and how it can sound like one thing from far away, but the closer you get, it's completely different.
By the way, Marky,
I
the only
would,
reason I actually remember that game was not because of the gameplay presentation, but because you gushed about it so much. Um, by the way, I actually got Beyond Eyes through a Humble Monthly bundle, and I plan on doing a first impressions in July. And I'm hoping that you'll be part of that one.
I will gladly be a part of that one.
There's also, I know there's another indie game in development. I don't know whether it's going to be coming out on console or it's going to be coming out on. It's probably going to be on PC too. It has a similar thought process where basically you play a blind character, and it's a horror game.
Ooh.
And essentially, you don't know what's there or what what you're seeing is actually there or if you're actually hallucinating.
Yeah.
There is something coming after you, but you kind of have to kind of go and hide in your darkness, and the only way you can see is it's some sort of echolocation type ability. But the more you use it, the more it gives away your position.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
But yeah, I wanna see something from PC gaming that has me going, I really need to buy that. I need another Beyond Eyes experience where I drive Bulba and Eddie crazy because I won't shut up about it. That's what I want out of it. If I'm gonna get that, I'm not so sure. But hey, we'll figure it out when we get there. So got a week.
Yeah, and the only game that legitimately I remember from that conference, I'm like, oh, that looks awesome. Now it's come out, and we were like, yeah, we're staying away from that.
All right. So any last final shots at PC gaming?
Nope.
All right. So the next conference that comes up is at 1 p.m. Pacific, and that is going to be Ubisoft. So, gentlemen.
Bob, I'm taking the initiative on this one.
Okay, go ahead.
First of all, Ubisoft, shame on you. You've taken one thing that I have loved every year since she has been there to actually be there, and have just completely removed her. And that's Aisha Tyler. I love that woman. For shame.
I knew where this was going.
I knew this was coming. I mean, literally, for everybody that is in the chat currently, and everybody listening to this later on, I get a tweet the other day that just says, no! And it's him retweeting Aisha Tyler revealing that she's not going to be heading up Ubisoft's press conference this year. And I didn't respond to it because I know that all I would get in response was more yelling no.
You almost expect Eddie was going, you had one job, Ubisoft! One job!
It's just, you were the chosen one! You were one of the chosen ones that I just, she was a highlight of just that conference. And just basically an E3 in general for me. So it's just like, now that at least that's out of the way, I already know what we're definitely going to be able to see. Give me more Far Cry 5. Please give me more Far Cry 5 at this point. After seeing the initial big wave and just basically like the big controversy that came out when they released it, or at least the trailer and everything, and the picture depicting what people would say the Last Supper was, and it's just like, please, more Far Cry 5. I want more just flip out and freaks from people. Please. I eat that. I just eat that shit up. I already know we're going to be seeing Assassin's Creed. Maybe if you do it right, maybe you'll actually get me back interested in wanting to get back into this series, Ubisoft. I highly doubt it, but you might be able to convince me. There's I figured we're probably going to see the Just Dance game for this year or next year, one of the two. After that, my gut tells me a potential Tom Clancy game because, well, nah. If you decide to do, or at least tease or whatever, Watch Dogs 3, but, like, just more Far Cry 5, and I'll at least give a look at Assassin's Creed 3. Or, not Assassin's Creed 3, but whatever your next Assassin's Creed game is going to be. Just because. Bob, you're up on deck on this one.
Yeah, I mean, you had the obvious Far Cry 5 and Assassin's Creed Origins, and I'm sorry whether the games end up being good or not. It's always interesting to see the teasers and the trailers from the Assassin's Creed games. They're always fun. But also there are rumors that we will be getting a new Splinter Cell game. So I expect to see that as well. Other than that, I've not been up much on Ubisoft other than potential hostile takeover situation there. But I think that they're going to be trying to hit E3 big time, so I expect probably more big announcements other than those three. And hopefully Ubisoft can come back. I think there's a a Mario Rabbids crossover. I don't know whether they're going to do that.
Mario X Rabbids.
I don't know if they're going to show that off in Ubisoft or Nintendo.
Why not both?
Potentially Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Please.
Maybe a new Rayman game. I don't know. Ubisoft has a lot to play with, and I think Ubisoft really wants to come back hard this E3, so they're going to have to bring a lot to the table.
All right, and my thing with Ubisoft is obviously Far Cry. Far Cry is always fun to watch the trailers for. I haven't really played them. I've watched other people play them because it's not my kind of game, so to speak. But man, all I could remember is the last time that I watched a Far Cry thing where it was a reveal is, do you know the definition of insanity? And I hear the dude's voice in my head. I can't do it to save my life. But so yeah, we're probably going to see something about Far Cry is what I'm expecting. Obviously Assassin's Creed, but if we're going to see Assassin's Creed, although every trailer is impressive and cool to watch, I'd really like to see them go back to actual historical events. Assassin's Creed 3 and Black Flag were and are two of my favorites. And the reasons why is because they're dealing with actual historical content. Like, you're dealing with, literally in 3, dealing with, America becoming itself. Dealing with the revolution and all of that. And that's what kept me interested, because I love alternate history things. So I would love to see actual historical events turned on top of their heads and given an Assassin's Creed twist. That's what I think they need to go back to. I haven't played a game since those two. I'm still working my way through Black Flag because I've had some issues health-wise involving my eyes, and I can't concentrate on that game very well because of it. So it's taken me a long time to get to where I am in it. But I would love to see them return to the alternate history. I would absolutely love that. Because there's tons of stuff that you can do. Not only, obviously, we're all in the US, so the things that we probably know the best are the American, history things. But you can even do a more modern day one, because obviously the battle is still going on. So you could do, a World War I based one, or do a World War II based one.
Well,
There's ways to delve into that. But other than that, like, as long as Ubisoft brings forward some games that show improved graphics, that show that they have a fun storyline potentially, and that they're going to be something that isn't glitchy as all get out and easy and fun to play and get the hang of, although they may become complicated more often in the later times that you're playing it, I would still really I want to see them flourish because I kind of love Ubisoft just a little bit. But they've been kind of falling flat with some of their IPs lately, and it upsets me a little bit because I want to see them do more. So, Bulba, did you have something you wanted to cut in there with? I totally just ran you over.
I was just going to say that we actually already know the Assassin's Creed setting, but I'm good.
Yeah, I haven't looked into it because I want to find out at E3.
Okay.
I've been trying to avoid the spoilers on it.
I won't say anything then.
Yeah, I've been trying to avoid the spoilers as much as possible because I want to see what's going to happen. I'm just hoping that whatever they do, whatever setting it is, that they take a historical thing from it because it's cool to be able to play a game, at least for me, because I'm a nerd, I'm weird like this, and learn something from it. And learn about something that's completely different from a culture maybe that you're not a part of. So it's just I'm being weird and being me. So fooey on everybody else.
I do have one more thing that I honestly forgot, and my brain kicked it up and remembered.
All right. I was going to say final thoughts. So, Eddie, do you want to take the floor?
Yes, I do. Because I had to ask, at least the both of you. Hey, Link. First of all, who put the stick of truth in the toilet? That is not funny. It's a holy relic. I want to see more of Fractured Butthole. Please let me see more of the South Park game.
Right.
Just please. Just please. That is my one definitive wish. Because, like, with the original Stick of Truth, I loved and enjoyed that game so much when I actually got to sit down and play it last year. And it was just one of those games where it's just like, I know the humor to expect, and it's just, with Trey Parker and Matt Stone, they are phenomenal people. And it's just like, I want to know. So
yeah, and I'm looking forward to possibly hearing more on that. I'm a little bit sad about the fact that it didn't come out when it was supposed to come out originally, because it was going to come out on my birthday, so I was telling everybody that it was absolutely meant to be, and so someone had to buy it for me. That was my excuse. So I do hope that we get some more stuff in here.
I do as well.
Bulb, did you have any final thoughts?
Like I said, I think I'm kind of looking forward to most everything everybody else is with Ubisoft.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think we beat it. I think we beat it with a stick pretty well.
Just because the trailer was so good.
All right. So the next thing, the next actual showcase is going to be PlayStation. So PlayStation is 6 p.m. Pacific time on the 12th. So I will let you guys start off.
Yeah, there's a few games that we've kind of seen a little bit of before that I actually want to see a lot more at the show, and that I'm kind of expecting to see a lot more. Number one, I want to see more of that Spider-Man game. I want to see what Insomniac has been working on. So I kind of want to see where they're going with that, and I'm kind of excited about that. Also, Last of Us 2. It's the PlayStation conference. we've seen like a reveal trailer. I think that they're probably saving it. They're probably going to show us a little bit more, hopefully, of Last of Us 2. Also, the new God of War game. I mean, those are just three big games that we know are coming that we don't have a lot of information on, and if Sony shows at least those three games, I mean, they can blow E3 out of the water. I also put down a game that I have no indication that this is coming. It's just maybe a wish or maybe something that Sony could reveal. That and this would be something that would come out of nowhere. And I'm basically taking inspiration that they've recently released the Crash Bandicoot Insane Collection. And so I'm wondering if maybe as a surprise they might show something similar, do something similar for Spyro. I mean, I think if they teased and said that, hey, there's going to be a Spyro HD collection of the original three PlayStation games, I think people would go nuts. To be fair, I think Sony has the most potential out of any of the developers in this conference to really just take the show. Also, I was going to just talk about this in third party, but I think if we're going to see Destiny 2 anywhere during E3, I think that we will see it in the Sony conference. Destiny tends to gravitate towards the Sony conferences anyway, and with Destiny 2 kind of being really big, I don't know if we're going to see it so much in the PC gaming show as we're going to see it in the PlayStation conference. Actually, I think if it's going to land anywhere, I think it's going to land there. So I think we're going to see that during Sony's show. So I think this has the potential to be one of the biggest shows, and I'm actually really looking forward to it.
You took one of mine, just so we're clear.
That's my job.
Yep. Breaking my balls, man. Breaking my balls.
I am Turnable.
If they actually come out with the whole Spyro collection, I will be incredibly elated because it's just like, oh yeah, that's nice. I really like the ideal of the potential for the Spyro collection, where you can just get like all of not only the original three from the PlayStation era, but you can also get the one from the PS2 era. So just wrap them all up in one big bow and just ship
Serve
them
them
out
on a silver platter.
Oh yeah, definitely serve them on a silver platter. I definitely I want to see more God of War because that first shot they did with Kratos and his son, it's like, yeah, I want to see more of that because that looks interesting. Let's see. That Spider-Man game, Bob, that you mentioned, yes, that is something that, is definitely an intriguing thing I want to see. I already know that they had mentioned that, oh, hey, Final Fantasy VII and Kingdom Hearts 3 will be coming out in the next 3 years, potentially, or longer, and it's just like, well, I know what to not wish for this year. Damn it, Square Enix. If anything. Something to come out of left field that would really surprise and shock me would be something like a Legend of Dragoon remake. Or like a medieval re-release. Something like that. Let's get real old and let's get real retro and just kind of go into the backlogs of re-releases and just go, here, let's bring out these characters and let's see how many people who are our age and just go, yeah, that's something that's going to be really nice and interesting. And the new generation just go, the hell are you going crazy over this for? Who's this? As much as I got my wish last year, I didn't see any Call of Duty in I think any of the conferences, if memory serves me correctly. May or may not. But I don't expect to be able to escape that same fate this year. I hope that it doesn't take up 10 minutes in 2 different conferences, because at that point, it's a 10-minute piss break for me. In however many conferences that it shows up in. So, nah. Lady Markie, the floor is yours.
All right, I have to agree with you. I know it's going to come at some point during the 3 major conferences between Xbox, PC, or PlayStation. I don't know which one. I'd really like to, again, not see more Call of Duty, because I just feel like it's getting reskinned, a few little visual updates, and maybe a little bit of mechanic updates, and then they're throwing the same game back out at people with a slightly different storyline. And by slightly, I mean they change who you're fighting, and that's about it.
Yeah, this one's going to be focused on World War II, so...
Yeah, and I believe that they've done that once or twice before. So I really feel like it's not something that needs to be done.
What was that, Bob?
I said that's how the series started.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't feel like it's something that needs to be shown at all 3 conferences. On one, I could see it. If they're going to do it, show it at one and announce that it's going to be available on X, Y, and Z platform and leave it at that. You don't have to go to every single one.
Yeah, and also make sure, because I figure, what they're going to do, if they actually do show it, they'll probably show it at Sony's, because that's where most of their exclusive DLC has been. So it's just
yeah,
here you go.
And if they're going to do it, can we get it out of the way at the front so then I can be excited the rest of the time?
Yes, please.
Or at the end, just so I can shut off the stream early and get myself ready for whatever comes next.
Yeah.
As for what else I'd like to see from PlayStation, God of War is the big one. So I am really, really into mythology, and the fact that it looks like we're heading the way into Norse mythology by some of the looks and appearances and tools and things that we've seen Kratos and his son using. I'm really looking forward to seeing an idea of what the storyline is. Obviously, they just showed the short little bit where they show him and his son hunting and the one fight, which doesn't give us much to go on. So exactly where they are and what type of mythos we may be jumping into is completely up for grabs, but it looks like it's more of a Northern Europe one rather than a Southern Europe. So I'm hoping for Norse mythology because it's my favorite, and it would be amazing, and I'm so looking forward to it. I would love to hear more on Kingdom Hearts 3, even if it's a quick, hey, we feel like we're at about the halfway point, you guys have been great waiting for this. If it's the cheesiest, hey, here's just a little sneaky peek of something that's a whole 30 seconds long. I don't care. I'd love to just, yeah, I just like to know that they haven't, because Kingdom Hearts, the original, was one of the first games that I ever played on a actual non-Nintendo console, because I grew up on Nintendo and then begged and begged and begged, and when I got straight A's, my parents gifted to me a PlayStation 2, and I got to play Kingdom Hearts, and I fell in love with the game and have been a fan since. So I would love to see what Part 3 is going to bring us. Obviously, if we're going to see any Square Enix stuff, it's going to come out of PlayStation. I off and on play Final Fantasy XIV, and on June 21st, they are launching a new expansion. So I would love to see, even though Square Enix just did their own conference in Japan talking about the expansion, I would love to see one that is in English, easier for me to understand, that I don't have to trust people translating it, so that I know exactly what's coming out. One of the things that is mentioned coming out in the DLC is that we're getting Red Mage, and Bulba and Eddie, I don't think you're going to understand the amazingness of this because I don't think either of you played Final Fantasy 11. But oh god, I want Red Mage so bad. Oh, it's going to be awesome. So
I
I'd
between like you now and my buddy Jeremy talking about it. Yeah, Final Fantasy
Red
14
Mage
Red
is
Mage.
basically your like perfect utility character because you can not only be a support and a healer, but you can easily switch into being a DPS character at the same time. It's basically taking White Mage and Black Mage and combining and crossing some of their abilities while giving them some unique things on top of that. It's a really, really neat class, and like they announced when they did their first DLC, we're gonna have some new classes, and everybody's like, "Oh, Red Mage, come on, Red Mage." No Red Mage. And so now it was like this next time, it's like, yeah, yeah, okay, probably not gonna get Red Mage. And then they previewed, someone leaked out pictures of the outfits before we got to them, and there was like, oh, that looks like a Red Mage outfit. And then they did a special anniversary thing where if you followed everything, you got into the secret room, and you have two NPCs that are fighting about red magic versus blue magic. So it was like red mage or blue mage. And it's like, oh, tell me that one of those is coming out. And so when they officially announced Red Mage, it was amazing. But tangent over. So things that I'm hoping that also come out of PlayStation, obviously, are I'd love to see more things on the indie side for them too, because they started branching out a little bit. I've noticed, but I would love to see some unique IPs of theirs, or bring back some of the originals, like Eddie was saying, some of the original PlayStation or PlayStation 2 games, and give them a revamp and maybe add some DLC that has some after story to them. Because I can think of a few games that would easily have an amazing addition to them if you had the time to put into it. Um, yeah, so I just want to see good games coming out of them, and I want to see some amazing previews because now that I actually own a PlayStation, I actually, for once in my life, care about what PlayStation is going to be doing. And I know that sounds horrible. I'm sorry for any PlayStation owners that hear this and are probably shaking their fists at me. But now that I have one, I'm like, this is great. I'm really looking forward to this. So I'm really hoping that we get some great new games or some revamps of old games because that would be absolutely amazing. And even if it isn't a full like reskinned, updated graphics revamp, that I like up to date graphics, give it a little bit of a boost and put it on there as kind of a retro thing where you can still play them, I would still love that too. Because I would love to go back and replay things that I messed around with as a kid. So, any final thoughts on PlayStation?
I think between PlayStation, Bethesda, and possibly the next one we're going to talk about, um, I think those are going to be three shows that have the biggest chance of actually being the show of the E3.
Yeah. Eddie, before we move on, any final?
Not anything that comes to mind. So.
Okay. So, PlayStation is the last thing that is on when it comes to showcases on the 12th. So on the 13th, the first thing we have at 9 a.m. Pacific time is the Nintendo Spotlight, which is a video presentation. So I believe this is not going to have any live people in it, which I believe they did the same thing last year, if I remember correctly, or the year before. And it was something that was pre-recorded, but it did have a lot of content and a lot of cool stuff for us to look at. So, Bulba, I know that this is your thing here, so I will let you start so you can get your thing out of the way.
So I do know some game. A lot of these are games that I hope to see more of because some of these have been announced. Some are, I just want to get more information. But before we get into the games, the number one thing I want to get some actual information on is I'm hoping to actually learn more about their upcoming online subscription program. I know it's not going to be live until 2018, but they've actually just kind of given a little bit of. They basically made a change to what they originally said the subscription program would be. We know that's going to be $20 a year. We know that's going to be that no longer it's going to, because before it was, you know, for a month you basically kind of previewed these games. Unlike the Microsoft or the Sony programs, you didn't get free games. You just rented them for a month free. And they've now changed that. Now you basically will have access to classic games anytime you want, as long as you're a subscriber, which is amazing. But we don't know exactly what that entails game-wise. I want a lot more information. I'm hoping, since they kind of teased that recently, that maybe they'll go more in depth about that during E3, but they may not, just because the program's not going to be fully unveiled until 2018. But I'm hoping that they do, because it's something that sounds exciting, but I want to know a lot more before wandering into it, or saying how excited I am. On the gameplay front, one of the things I am expecting to hear, because I think this is beyond a rumor at this point. It's almost expected at this point. I'm really expecting that we will see Metroid Prime 4. Retro Studios has been working on a game for Nintendo, and all of the closest sources that have normally the close Nintendo sources have been saying that they're actually working on Metroid Prime 4, and that's what Nintendo was hinting at in Metroid at the end of Metroid Prime Federation Force. So there's a very high likelihood that we will see Metroid Prime 4, because Nintendo has said that we're going to be getting another Metroid game. There is, however, another rumor that we may be seeing a second Metroid game on top of Metroid Prime 4. No one knows if this is going to be for sure or not. But we are most likely definitely going to be seeing Metroid Prime 4 during the show, if nothing else. Definitely we're going to be seeing Super Mario Odyssey. I would be surprised if we don't see anything about that game. I expect we'll see a lot more about that. Given the most current release of Shadows of Valencia, and I know Fire Emblem Warriors is coming up, we will probably see a little bit about Fire Emblem Warriors. But what I'm really thinking that we're going to see, I think we're actually going to see, we're going to see a lot more about the new Fire Emblem game that's being developed for the Switch. This would be the perfect time to announce it. I also highly anticipate getting new information about a Smash Brothers game for the Switch. Whether it's going to be a new one, where they're going to say we're working on this, or whether it's going to be a deluxe version, kind of like what they did with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Essentially, a ported, updated version of Smash 4 with all the DLC included, where they can also start adding more DLC on top of that. I think that's probably the most likely scenario, instead of a brand new Smash game, is that they're just going to have a Switch port of Smash 4, and it'll be like Smash 4 Deluxe, or Smash Switch Deluxe, whatever they want to call it. I think with the Switch just out, and them needing to actually just announce a lot of big games, announcing Smash would be huge. So I kind of expect Smash to show up in some form or another. Other than that, I just have a couple more things that I would like to see as a wish list. I would like to find out more information about that Shin Megami Tensei game they said is going to be coming to the Switch. We pretty much, when they announced all the different games that were being planned for the Switch during the, I think, Eddie, you remember the Switch Treehouse, right?
I do.
One of the teasers they showed was for an unannounced Shin Megami Tensei game that would be hitting the Switch. It's probably not that far in development, so this probably will not happen, but I kind of really want to find out more about that game. I'm kind of excited. I want more information about the Switch's Shin Megami Tensei game. What are we looking at? A mainline title, or something close to mainline title? Something closer to Persona? I don't know. I just want to find out more about what Atlas is working on there. The other thing that I'm hoping might show up, or the other game that I'm hoping might show up, recently, on June 1st in Japan, Square Enix released for the Switch the the second Densetsu collection. As of right now, there's been no announcement for if they are actually going to localize the collection or not. For those of you who do not know, the second Densetsu series is essentially known as the Mana series here in the U.S. And the second Densetsu collection collected the first 3 games in the series. That is Second Densetsu 1, which is Final Fantasy Adventure, which was a Game Boy Advance, not a Game Boy Advance, but a Game Boy game. I actually did a let's play of it on my actual channel. Then there was Second Densetsu 2, which was Secret of Mana, and then Second Densetsu 3, which has never been officially released in the West. Given that it's the 25th anniversary of the Second Densetsu series, and given that the Secret of Mana especially is highly regarded in the West, and they have never released the third game, this would be a huge announcement to basically say, hey guys, this game is going to be coming over to you guys in the West, and you'll be able to play it. I am really hoping that Square Enix actually does this, that we will actually see this, because in Japan it's a Switch exclusive, and I would really, really love for it to be announced at E3 that we are going to be getting the second Densetsu collection here in the States, or just here in the West. And that would also explain why they were mysteriously silent when asked about it over in Japan. So, I mean, for me that kind of makes sense that they just didn't say anything, because they were planning on unveiling it during the Nintendo Spotlight, or at E3 in general. So I'm really hoping that we hear something from Atlus, that we hear something from Square Enix, and maybe some other third parties, some mystery games, some huge games for the Switch. I expect to see a lot more of a focus. I'm expecting to see a huge focus on Switch over 3DS, because I think Nintendo is going to continue to sell the Switch hard, and for that they're going to need to show off some new games, some big name games, and the only way to do that is to have a Switch game packed Nintendo presentation. So that's exactly what I'm expecting we're going to see here.
So, my turn now?
Yes.
I was going to say Bob, because it seems like you just talked yourself out of breath at this point. Alright.
I am excited.
So, I completely understand that. First thing comes first. Fire Emblem Warriors. Yes. Tell me it's coming this year. Please. Let me know about that potential new Fire Emblem game that's coming out for the Switch. This is... Because here's another thing when it comes to that. I don't know if you're going to keep continuing on with the Path of Radiance, Radiant Dawn timeline, or is it just going to be something completely different, or just something that you've had already over in the West that you're going to do a re-release for on the Switch or whatever? If anything, for me, I have honestly gotten fond of the Fire Emblem Shadow of Valencia Echoes for the 3DS. I've had a good time with it. So it's like being able to sink my teeth in more with Fire Emblem. Please, 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 please give me more. I know that there are whispers, or at least there has been discussions of Pokemon coming for the Switch. Could be a mainline game, could be the third mainline game in the Sun and Moon series. There's just been rumors and discussions of it. So, yeah, sure, let me see more of at least what you're going to do with there. Odyssey, of course I want to see. I definitely want to also see more of the Rabbids and Mario crossover. That looks zany, and it's just like, let me see more of that. Platinum Games has been someone who has been touted as working on a secret project as well for Nintendo and the Switch. maybe they've got a little something prepped for E3. Maybe. I don't know yet. But fingers crossed here, potentially to see it. I would go over the usual wish list of like, okay, let's see some of that Fox, F-Zero, and maybe a Kirby game or something along those lines. Like the ragtag run of what you're normally going to discuss and see and talk about when it comes to when you hear Nintendo. But in all honesty, I've been more or less let down when it came to Nintendo and their E3 presence, because like I know last year they did a hard focus on Breath of the Wild, which I'm okay, I'm fine with, perfectly fine, perfectly reasonable. But when they did their like big direct that they normally do, they've just let me down, and I'm hoping that they can kind of bring it around this year and just get really big hype with it, instead of waiting like 2 months and then me go, why didn't they announce this at E3 at their next direct down the line? But it's just like, bring me stuff that I know will get me excited. Like at some point I know I'm gonna pick up a Switch. I gotta find one in stock before the big holiday rush, because that's gonna be one of the biggest keys, is to get it before the big holiday rush. Because like, I figure that they'll have games for it and things that will be interesting and good going forward. And plus, with the Switch being able to be portable and it being a home console, just being able to take like a Fire Emblem, a Pokemon, or something like that on home console on the road, yes, please, let me. I'm done. Oh, wait, Bravely? A Bravely series, I figure we're going to see that, and something in the Xeno saga. For like, throw those two in and then just shut my mouth.
Oh yeah, that's right. Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Yeah.
Okay. There are only two things that I would love to see out of Nintendo. One of them I know is not likely to happen. The other one, as Bulba said earlier, is probably something we're going to see. I would love to see Smash for the Switch. I would like to see a new Smash Brothers, though. I would like to see new levels. I would like to see some new characters brought in. I want to see something new because they've kind of rehashed the current version of Smash Brothers a few times, I feel like, and revamped it for things. So give me a new story to follow to unlock characters. Give me new characters to interact with. Give me new things to learn about. There's got to be enough content there that you can pull in a few more from other things that you have gotten IPs for, or not IPs for, but permission to use, and other things that have come out that you can bring on in to the game. The other thing that I know that I can hope for all eternity, and it probably won't happen, I would love to see a new Star Fox game. I would absolutely love to see a new Star Fox game. And I know it's not going to happen, and it breaks my little heart.
Yeah,
But I'll get
especially
over it.
after Zero.
Shh, shh. You don't acknowledge its presence.
Oh, I mean, especially after Command. That better?
But yeah, I want to see Star Fox, and even if it's a reboot of the series, I would love to see some more Star Fox, because I love that game. Maybe it's just my nostalgia side that really wants to see it. Things that I don't want to see is putting more information on the handhelds. Honestly, the Switch is a 2-in-1. It's a handheld and a console, in my opinion. So it'd be interesting to see if Nintendo over the next few years actually starts pulling away from the handhelds and goes with the technology like the Switch, where you can take it with you. That would be completely an amazing thing to see, so that you have a 2-in-1, and they could drop the price a little and make it so that it's affordable like some of the handhelds, but still a little bit more because it functions as a console as well. But that's something that I imagine would happen a few years from now, not this year. Um, I don't want to hear any Zelda or Link talk this year just because they did have Breath of the Wild come out with the console. So we already know about it. Everyone and their mother has done a playthrough of it. So I really think at this point it's like beating a dead horse if it gets brought up. But
Yeah, and they
I'm
have
not,
DLC coming out, so.
because I don't have a lot of investment in Nintendo now like I used to as a kid. I don't know what to really expect from Nintendo. Nintendo is kind of my wild card. I'm going to watch it and I'm going to hope for the best. And, maybe there'll be something that catches my eye that makes me want to buy a Switch because it's the only, quote unquote, current console that I don't own. And I would love to because I would love to play the Breath of the Wild because, man, does that look amazing. But that is the only thing that I've wanted to play. So yeah, that's where I'm at. So unless anyone else has last minute Nintendo things that they forgot.
I do have one thing.
Okay.
Bayonetta 3. Bayonetta 3. Because
we can hope.
Yeah, go ahead.
We can hope for Bayonetta as much as we want. It doesn't mean that we're going to get it.
I know, but it's just like, Bayonetta 3, please. Just please. I mean, it's been a while since we've had a good, or at least a new Donkey Kong game. So, you could release one on the Switch.
That could be cool. Yeah.
What, Donkey Kong?
Okay. Yeah.
Like last one was Tropical Freeze, yeah.
Yeah. So, give me hype about Donkey Kong again.
Donkey Kong game. So I want to do a real quick thing that is not listed on here, because obviously the last few things for the 13th and then the 14th and the 15th are all stage show stuff where they're going to show more of the games, potentially longer previews and everything, but there is no more real announcements to be made or no big conferences for the rest of the day on the 13th, 14th, and 15th. Are there any third-party games that you're hoping to hear about that you're not sure where they would pop up?
Square Enix actually just released a thing. Number one, they have Project Docto, whatever, but that's going to be that might show up somewhere. But they also released information about another game they're working on that I probably expect to see something of it somewhere in E3, and it's a game called Lost Sphere. It's a brand new RPG from their RPG factory. That's pretty much that little small group of people who made I Am Setsuna, and it looks to be another RPG that has an active time battle system, battles that take place on the world map when you fight. It has to do with people disappearing. We don't know much about it right now. They have some alpha footage at the moment, but the game is starting to be announced. I only found out about it because I kind of get Square Enix emails. I think because I play Final Fantasy 14 for some reason. I think somehow I ended up on a list. But yeah, that's a new game that they kind of just sneakily announced this week, and we're going into E3. So I expect we'll probably see something about it somewhere during E3.
Okay. Eddie?
Something that would be completely out of left field for me. I would like to see a potential Final Fantasy VI re-release for the upteenth time, but it being full 3D. like they did with Final Fantasy IV.
Okay.
Red Dead, please. Red Dead Redemption 2. I want to see that game.
Oh.
Yes, please give me more Red Dead.
Also, I know it's probably not going to happen, but something from the Chrono series, like maybe a remake of, I don't think a remake of Chrono Trigger, we've had that game so many times more, but like maybe bring back the original team and redo Chrono Cross to actually include all that information, all that stuff they wanted to have in there before, maybe redo the battle system to kind of make it relevant again. Maybe if Square Enix actually is starting to see that there might be a potential for something in the Chrono series, maybe bring back the original Dream Team and get Chrono Break. I don't think it's going to happen, but I can dream. I want a third game.
So to quote Rabbit Luigi at this point would be if they actually announced something like this. I believe Bulb's nerd boner would knock the moon out of orbit.
So, the only two things I can think of third-party wise that would, I'd really like to see, but I'm not sure. Any type of, like, LA Noire style, like, crime drama game, I would love to see another one. I don't care by who. As long as they make it good. I would love to see that. And then the other thing that I would like to see is, and everyone's going to yell at me for this, and I'm sorry, I'm a fangirl. So I'd love to see another BioShock-related thing. Definitely. I love the BioShock genre, and because they opened up the end of Infinite with, and y'all that are going to be screaming spoilers can shut your mouth, because it's been a while. If you don't know the ending, suck it. The fact that they open it up to, there's all these portals to different areas and different realms that you can potentially walk into. That means that there are literally hundreds upon thousands of possibilities that they could sync up into there. And they could start your character off as having crashed or somehow ended up in that area that Elizabeth walks you through. And you see that, and you're somehow awake in there and just like, what is this? And then like start questioning this, and you have the option to walk through, like, we'll say 3 doors that give you an option, and you could have 3 different experiences in there. That would be the coolest game ever. Also, people who make BioShock, if you take my idea, please at least credit me and give me a free copy. I'll send you my address. Just saying. But if they came up with something, that would be amazing. But that's the only third-party things I could think of. So, as Bulba had mentioned in the chat, we are going to be starting Q&A. So I'm going to turn it over to him and let him do his thing while we wait for questions to come up. So, I know y'all are sitting in the chat.
So yeah, we do have a couple. We do have a couple people that we know are in the chat. One of which is actually kind of interacting. When we kind of have an audience here at the end, we are going to be trying to get maybe a few questions for just a few more minutes before we close things out. So we mainly just finished talking about E3 as we're leading in, and we are just going to take some questions. So, Link Rock 86 has asked, is there going to be any 2K games or Gearbox? Actually, I think there's been rumors that Gearbox is actually working, and we may see something about Borderlands 3. Also, I forgot, Darksiders 3 also coming out.
Yes, give me that. I forgot about that one. Thank you for reminding me of it. Give me Darksiders 3. I want more of it. More information.
I would absolutely love to see both those games. So, if that is a thing that happens, that I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I don't know which show it would appear in. It would probably just be one of the random stage shows. Um,
Yeah, it would be, I'm guessing that it would probably be Microsoft or PlayStation because those tend to have the highest attendance. So they're gonna want that large volume of eyes on them when they announce it. So one or the other is gonna be in those, I think.
yeah, and in general, there have been so many game announcements and so many upcoming games that for us it's hard to keep track of them. I mean, we can talk about amongst ourselves, and as this podcast goes on, we'll probably be able to give each of these more of a focus. But when talking about something as huge as E3, yeah, sometimes these games just slip through the cracks because we just forget about them. Even if we're hyped, there's just so much that when we're trying to keep and prep and get our list together, yeah, it's hard to just remember. Oh yeah, Borderlands 3 is supposed to show up, or uh, maybe we'll see something about Darksiders 3. Even though Darksiders 3 had a huge reveal with IGN, so given that's in a pre-alpha state right now, we might not see much of that because it got an exclusive reveal. Maybe we will, but it might just be too early for E3.
Just give me a trailer, a voiceover trailer, and just show off something. Nah, because like yes, the IGN thing was like a big gigantic. I didn't even see it flipping coming, but still, give me something to kind of like be like, okay, here's this. Yes, it's already been shown, but here. That way, it gets it out there a little bit more, and it's just like, oh my god,
I
we're getting
mean,
it.
look at how short the Dark Souls 3 trailer was when they first like announced, quote unquote, announced it. There wasn't much there. And look at all of the hype that happened. They don't need to have a full-fledged trailer if it's still an alpha. Just give us like that small 30-second like little teaser of this is a taste of what's to come.
Okay, here's another thing. Look at Rockstar and what they did with Red Dead. They tweeted out a picture, and it went nuts, and just flames. Everything just went out as far as the PR and everything went. When people were like, "Oh my god, this is Red Dead! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!" Like, oh, claw at it.
So,
Give me more of that.
so for the next question, Link is asking about Markie, who she is, and whether she's going to be playing with us as part of the greater channel. Markie, how about you just give us some more, just give the chat a little bit more information about yourself, and we can probably just discuss about what this means going forward.
Okay, so I'm Marky. I've been friends with Bulba and Eddie for quite a few years now. We've all played games together, have struggled through hilarious D&D shenanigans together. I personally run my own blog and do a lot of reading and then some gaming on the side. But I try to be around for whenever they are actually on and doing stuff. Most of the time, I do actually not log in, but watch the critical resets and the ones, or not the critical resets, the first impressions when Bulba releases them and starts recording them here on Twitch. But the ones I missed, I always catch up with on YouTube. And I'm going to have some more free time coming up in the future, so I may be around more and actually start playing with them when it comes to some of the streams that they do. But I am for sure going to be here for the podcast, at least for the unforeseeable future, whether they like it or not. So they just kind of have to deal with me. I'm pretty sure 90% of the time they actually are like, oh, it's so nice to have you here. But there's sometimes that I go on tirades that they just are like, oh God.
No, I am actually when I'm actually putting things out and speaking through the through the chat. I'm actually sitting on the dashboard and I'm actually typing out through the Critical Reset channel.
Yeah, his nickname online has always been Bulba.
Or
So,
Bulbazak.
yeah, it's been Bulbazak, and I used to pick on him saying that he was a Pokemon fan that wanted to make it not as obvious and not be Bulbasaur, so he made it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But
I actually have my own private YouTube channel and Twitch channel. I just don't use them as often. Maybe in the future, but right now this group channel is my main focus and priority. And Marky, while you're at it, how about you just give a plug for your blog? That way, if anybody wants to check it out.
okay, I will grab a link. So,
Because I was gonna say, if anything, because of Markie and I getting together for her blog, I will be uploading short, like TLDW, like Too Long Didn't Watch, all the big conferences, EA, Xbox, PC, Ubisoft, all of them. They're gonna get their own short-ended posts.
especially since they're nicely spaced out this year and not like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
So,
And it's just little dots here and there that'll just give you little vomits of information that are important. And it's just one of those things where you can go, you can read it and be like, oh, okay, so this is what they announced here, here, and here. And then you can go and catch up on the individual videos elsewhere on your interwebs. So that's what I'll be doing all E3 week, or at least the first 4 days.
first like 4 days. Yeah. So, my blog specifically is right here. It's What a Nerd blog. It's on WordPress currently. Eddie and I are working on getting the Patreon subscriptions to be able to actually get our own website address and move off of WordPress onto a hosting site. I have been running it solo for 4 years until about a month ago when I mentioned I needed another writer, and Eddie basically threw himself in my direction saying, me, me, me. So I had him kind of join in, and I told Bulba that we can cross-post things because I know that I really like the stuff that they're doing here with Critical Reset. And so I do want to help support them as well. But I do a lot of reading. I do a lot of stuff about writing. And with Eddie on there, there's going to be a lot more stuff showing up about gaming. And eventually I'm going to get back into actually writing game reviews. And
who knows, I might...
because really dorky posts.
I think maybe once American Gods finish and I actually catch up, I might write something just about the series. I don't know. We'll see if I get back to writing.
You are more than welcome to, sir, and I will gladly put it up there.
But yeah, we decided to cross-promote a little bit, which was perfect because I wanted to get, I think... I was having a hard time of because I wanted to bring this podcast back. This is us essentially relaunching the podcast again. You can find previous episodes, at least 3 previous episodes on our YouTube channel. And we wanted to bring the whole idea of when we kind of brought things back. I think we started bringing things back with Critical Reset last August of just going, okay, we're going to just relaunch properly with Eddie and I just spearheading everything. And the idea was to kind of bring back some of what I consider the core pillars of the channel, little bit by little bit. First impressions is going to be a huge one. I still haven't gotten everything archived up and gotten a good groove yet. Critical loading error was the next thing I wanted to bring back, and I felt that I wanted to bring it back sooner rather than later. And I just didn't want it to be just a me and Eddie show. We already have that. It's called Traveler's End. We talk about Hearthstone. I didn't want this to be another. I didn't want this to be Traveler's End. General Gaming
2.0.
Edition. And Markie was somebody I wanted to. I've been trying to coax to be more of a part of some of the Critical Reset stuff before. So I'm actually really happy because I think this is. We kind of met Markie through podcasting, so this is the perfect thing to kind of bring her in and especially have her MC this, so I can just run other things. And yeah, I think I would love for her to for all of us to kind of get more involved and do more things on the channel. But I think that's just going to take time, and we're just going to see how this goes. I'm hoping, depending on, I don't know how Markie's schedule is going to work out, but I'm hoping maybe in July, Markie, I would like to do some first impressions that really focus on group gaming, and especially having you sit on quite a few of those first impressions, because there are a few games I know I've been holding off, but waiting for you to be free and available.
Oh, well, you know there that I will be there for Beyond Eyes. So,
yeah. I also told Eddie I want to do at least one group game experience for first impressions in July. I have quite a few of them I've been sitting on, and
okay.
I kind of just want to do that, where basically we're all playing at the same time. Whether it's a group first impressions, or it's or it's still just my first impressions, but we're all playing together. So we do have a few of those.
I was gonna say, if anything, Bob, depending on your game for that matter, if it's definitely like a group first impressions thing, we may have to save that last half hour for us all to be able to sit down and just kind of word vomit. Because in all honesty, we've been running this, and this is just our relaunch episode, for 2 hours now.
Yeah.
As I've looked at the time.
Yeah, I've been keeping...
Now, if anything, I definitely want to thank people for at least being here, everyone for being here and, tuning in and everything like that. I'm glad. If anything, definitely hit that follow button. We're going to be making sure that we hit this time period every Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. So...
And if you missed any of this will be going up on YouTube the following day. So we're going to be making sure this kind of gets a very quick turnaround. Shouldn't take very long. And, yeah, thank you. So, yeah. So, let's send it off.
Mark, you want to guess out?
All right, so that was all of our E3 predictions there in our little Q&A session. So, like Bulba said, this will hopefully be up tomorrow on YouTube. Not sure on the time, all depends on work schedules and how long it takes to edit everything. Because of our little hilarious flub at the beginning of, wait, are we on? Wait, what? Huh? So,
well, now you have to include it.
Well, no, we don't. We totally don't. It's okay. Shh, don't worry about it. It was just me being dumb. We're good. So
we have fluff at the beginning. What? I don't know what you're talking
about. What? No. Just ignore that. So next Saturday, are we going to be doing one of these? Just because it is going to be smack dab in the middle of E3, so there's not much that we're going to be able to say except talk about EA. And you guys can just rewind and remember what we said about that one. So
yeah,
I think Sorry, go ahead, Bob.
I think we probably can. We can talk more about that as we go through the week, but I figure that there'll be some other gaming news leading up to EA. And if this week is any indication, there's always another controversy. So,
woohoo!
Yeah, that kind of frees things up.
So next Saturday, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be here, be square, or be square. I forgot the or. I'm a genius. So, this is Bulba, Eddie, and Markie signing off for the night. Thank you guys for coming, and we hope to see you next week.
Bye!